Hello, grade 11. Welcome to another biology class. So I hope we will learn a lot for today's lesson. Okay, so let's now move on to our lesson proper. Let me just pull out my PowerPoint presentation. Okay. Okay. So first is we have, of course, the prokaryotic and the eukaryotic cells. So let's now learn the differences between these two types of cells. Okay, and how do they affect us as human beings and our surroundings. Okay, so let's first discuss the prokaryotes types of cells. Okay, the prokaryotes are microscopic single-celled organism. They only um, behave as a single cell, meaning they do not form bigger uh, organisms. They do not go together to form tissues, muscles, organs, and so on. So they only work independently, but they can divide into uh, multiple cells, but they do not form bigger organisms. Okay, they are microscopic. They are single-celled organisms, and they do not have a distinct nucleus. So that's the first distinct um, difference of prokaryotes to eukaryotes. Yung mga eukaryotes, meron silang nucleus. So we can simply say that the animal cells and the plant cells both are eukaryotic cells. But whereas for the prokaryotes, they do not have nucleus. So later on, we will cite examples of the prokaryotic uh, type of cells. Okay. And they do not have specialized organelles. Sorry for that. Okay. Next one. So prokaryotic cells are smaller and simpler because they do not need to form bigger parts because they only need to divide to form a colony to stay in in one area to divide and to sometimes form chains in order to survive in certain environments. Okay, so again, prokaryotic cells are smaller and simpler, commonly known as bacteria. Sometimes they are fungi and other organisms, but commonly they are bacteria and viruses as well. Okay, so they are so my note that we can only see them under the microscope. So they are also single-celled or otherwise known as unicellular, and they are filamentous, meaning sometimes they behave in chains. They form chains in order to survive in certain environments. Okay, sometimes they form colonies. Okay, marami sila in an area. Okay, so this is an example of a bacteria of a prokaryotic cell. An example of a prokaryotic cell is a bacteria. An example of a bacteria is this type of bacteria, the E. coli or the Escherichia coli bacteria. Okay, so we can simply call it E. coli. Okay, this is a very common bacteria that causes UTI, diarrhea, vomiting, but sometimes they are usually harmless kapag normal na lang sila na nasa gut natin. But there are types of E. coli bacteria that causes harm. So these are the bacteria na nagko-cause ng infection. Okay? So prokaryotic cells uh, are simple in structure. Okay, they have a capsule, mukha silang capsule. So this is an example of a bacteria, particularly an E. coli bacteria. Okay, slimy, they have slimy outer coating, yung capsule nila. So let me just pull out my pen. Okay. So, ito yung capsule nila. So, it's slimy. And then the cell wall is tougher in the middle layer. Ito yung cell wall niya. Dito siya sa gitna. And then the cell membrane is delicate inner skin. Ito yung cell membrane niya dito sa inner part. Okay? So again, the capsule is the outer layer. That is the slimy part. Yung kulay slime na green. The cell wall is the middle part, the green one. That is the tougher part. Whereas in the cell membrane, ito yung nasa inner part, yun yung delicate inner skin niya. Okay? Next. As you can see, wala siyang visible nucleus, okay? Meron lang siyang cytoplasm, ribosomes, villi. Yung villi is used for attaching itself to its surrounding. Okay, the cytoplasm is the inner liquid, as we all know. It is where the inner parts of the cell floats. Okay, it also have DNA kasi yung DNA dito nakastore yung mga genetic information kung anong klaseng bacteria siya and how kung paano siya mag-behave in a certain environment. Okay? You can find the DNA inside the ribosomes. Okay? Villi, it is used for sticking to things, just like what I said earlier. And the flagella, it is the tail. Ito yung flagella niya. It is the tail that is used for motion. Okay, for swimming. Okay. Next, the ribosomes for building proteins, as usual. Okay, next. Just remove the drawings. Okay. So the prokaryotic, we have different prokaryotic lifestyle. Okay, they can behave unicellular or they can form colonies and they can also act and form chains. Okay, the first one, unicellular because sometimes meron lang tayong kokanti lang yung bacteria na makikita natin. Say for example, in a urinalysis. Okay, sometimes hindi naman sila marami. So they only behave as unicellular organisms. But sometimes, kapag say for example, nasa small intestine pa lang sila, sometimes may mga bacteria na marami na, na marami sila doon. So they form a colony. Okay? So ito. Kapag marami sila in a certain area, they are called colony. When they are filamentous, it means they form a chain. Just like for example, yung Leptospira interrogans, the bacteria that causes leptospirosis, form chains when it comes to infection. Kapag meron ng infection, you can see chains of Leptospira interrogans under the microscope. So again, the prokaryotic behaves unicellularly and sometimes when marami na sila, they form a colony. So this is an example of a colony and they can also behave in such a way that they can form chains or they are filamentous. Okay? They form filaments or chains. So ganito ang itsura niya under the microscope. An example of examples of bacteria that forms chains is again the Leptospira interrogans, which is the causative agent for leptospirosis. Next, so this is an example of an E. coli bacteria that formed a colony inside inside our intestines. Okay, sometimes there are certain types of E. coli bacteria that are harmless, but there are also types of harmful E. coli bacteria that can cause vomiting, nausea, and urinary tract infection and different types of infections. Okay. So this is an example of a Leptospira interrogans that formed a chain, and you can only see this under the microscope. Okay, next one. So let me just give you examples of different infections that is caused by an E. coli or an Escherichia coli bacteria. We can just simply call it an E. coli bacteria. Okay, and an E. coli bacteria can lead to various infections. Okay, hindi lang iisang type of infection ang pwedeng makuha sa E. coli. Okay, we can get various types of infections with an E. coli bacteria. Okay, in the gastrointestinal infection, in the gastrointestinal area, we can get infections such as yung dysentery, okay? And then it has symptoms just like diarrhea, abdominal cramps, and vomiting, okay? Meron tayong diarrhea kasi hindi hindi na-absorb ng maayos na yung yung water, kaya nag nagkakaroon tayo ng diarrhea because of the infection and the inflammation in our intestines, okay? The E. coli bacteria can also cause UTI or urinary tract infection, okay? By the way, it is the most common cause of most UTI, okay? Kapag hindi tayo hygienic sa ating private part, most probably we can get E. coli infection and eventually UTI or urinary tract infection, okay? Our E. coli bacteria can also infect our bloodstream. Okay, hindi lang siya sa gastrointestinal, hindi lang siya sa urinary tract, it can also go to our blood. Okay, the Escherichia coli can enter our bloodstream, leading to serious health issues. Okay, it may lead to watery or bloody diarrhea. Sometimes it can cause parang ulceration or nagsusugat yung ating bituka because of this bacteria. Okay, when the bacteria is harmful, it may cause ulcerations and eventually can contribute to bloody diarrhea. Bloody meaning kapag nagpoop ka, may blood. Okay? So the stomach, it can also cause stomach pain and cramps. Para kang para kang merong dysmenorrhea. It can also cause nausea, the feeling of nasusuka ka lagi, and also vomiting. And in some cases, it can also cause fever. Why? Because there is an infection. Infection is our body's natural response to, I, I mean, the fever is one of our body's immune response to infection. So when there is when you have fever, most probably you have an infection. Okay? So you have to have your blood tested for elevated WBC. WBC is yung white blood cells natin. Kapag elevated sila, most probably merong infection sa loob ng katawan. Okay? Next. So prokaryotes feeding, how do prokaryotes feed? Sometimes they are photosynthetic, sometimes they are disease-causing, they feed on living things and decomposers. How do they differentiate ba? First is let's discuss the photosynthetic. Photosynthetic meaning they feed on light energy, just like they behave like plants, okay? So an example of this is this cyanobacteria or the algae, okay, which we can find in ponds, bodies of water. Ayan. So they also have, as you can see, yung cyanobacteria. Let me just get my pen. The cyanobacteria also have thylakoids. So as you all know, the thylakoids is the one responsible for absorbing light energy in photosynthesis. Okay, so let's go back to the previous slide. The first, the first way of feeding a prokaryote is by photosynthesis, by feeding light energy to the bacteria. Okay, the cyanobacteria behaves like a plant. It absorbs light energy because it has thylakoids. An example of a cyanobacteria is the green algae, which we can find in our ponds and different bodies of water. The algae plays a major role in maintaining ecosystem, and since meron tayong photosynthesis dito, it also produces oxygen. 'Di ba? Photosynthesis produces oxygen and glucose. So, yung photosynthetic bacteria provides oxygen and food for the surrounding species in that area. Okay? So photosynthetic microorganisms play a major role in the ecosystem. Say for example, yung ating algae, they serve as food for little fishes, and then the little fishes kakainin ng bigger fishes, and then and so on and so forth. That's why it's very important to maintain ecosystem in our surrounding. Example dito is yung pond natin na very, very abundant yung green algae natin. Okay, which is a photosynthetic cyanobacteria. It gets, it feeds from light energy and from the water and from the water that surrounds the cyanobacteria. Okay? Thanks to the thylakoids kasi nakakakuha siya ng light energy because of the thylakoid. Okay? Next. Another way of feeding a prokaryotic organism is by feeding on living things. They can be parasitic in nature. Okay? Another way of feeding it is by feeding on dead things. They can act as decomposers. Like for example, yung mga normal bacteria natin, yung mga fungi, they can act as decomposers to dead or decomposing or dead organisms. Okay? So these are examples of decomposers. Okay? Yung mga prokaryotes natin na decomposers, yung mga unicellular natin, they can be fungi or yung mga mushroom natin, and they can also be bacteria. Okay? So again, how do you feed prokaryotes? First one is you can feed them via photosynthesis, and you can also feed them by feeding on dead organisms, and they can also act as parasite by feeding on living things. Okay, say for example, paano sila nakaka-feed sa living things when they cause infection? Say for example, meron kang infection sa urinary tract infection. Meaning, yung meron kang marami kang bacteria dun sa area na yon. So, those kinds of bacteria feed on you in order to survive. So, those types of bacteria are disease causing because they cause harm to your health, and they can cause different kinds of diseases. That's why I ask you to look into different kinds of diseases that is caused by different types of prokaryotes. That's why, kaya nga, they are disease causing. Okay, they are the primarily or the causative agent in the development of a certain disease. Okay. So again, cyanobacteria is the photosynthetic microorganism. An example of this is the green algae, which serves as parang producer sa pond na to. And they can also act as decomposers. They feed on dead organisms, and they can also feed on living organisms um, by forming or creating an infection. Okay, so eukaryotes, of course, meron tayong pinag-aralan na natin ito, yung mga animal cell and the plant cell because they have a distinct and defined nucleus. So meron silang organelles, they have chromosomes, and they are multicellular. Why? Because they form tissues and muscles and organs and so on. Okay, they include, of course, the animal and the plant cell. Next. So yeah, this is another example of the an animal cell. So we will just move on because we already tackled this topic. So, yung mga parts ng animal cell natin, meron tayong nucleus, where you can find the nucleolus, okay? Nucleolus is the packaging center for the ribosomes. The mitochondrion is the powerhouse of the cell. The ribosomes is what carries proteins to the rough endoplasmic reticulum and then eventually to the Golgi complex. Okay, the endoplasmic reticulum, we have two types, the smooth and the rough. Smooth because it doesn't have ribosomes, rough because there are many ribosomes attached to it. Okay, so the smooth is primarily concerned with detoxification and lipid synthesis, and the rough is concerned with protein synthesis. Golgi complex is responsible for folding your proteins into usable size for it to be utilized by our body. Okay, lysosomes is the one responsible for cleaning our cell, removing viruses and bacteria in order for it to be healthy. Okay, centrioles is primarily concerned with division. Okay, into two daughter cells. Okay, kapag magdi-divide na yung cell, that's where the centrioles are pretty much visible. Okay, cytoskeleton provides support for the cell. Okay, we also have the plant cell, which also has a very clear nucleus right here. Okay, this is not the nucleus because this is the vacuole. It is where water is being stored. Okay, the cell wall is very strong because it provides structure for the plant cell. Mabilis lang ako dito kasi na-discuss na natin to. Okay, again, the vacuole is the one responsible for storing liquid and maintaining pressure inside the plant cell in order for it to prevent bursting and damaging. Okay, it maintains pressure inside the plant cell. Next. Chloroplast, of course, the very famous chloroplast is responsible for the photosynthesis because it has thylakoids, and a group of thylakoids is called grana. Okay, thanks to our chloroplast, we now enjoy the photosynthesis and the abundance of oxygen and glucose in our surrounding. So they are different because, ayan. So yung animal cell, wala siyang chloroplast and at maliit lang yung vacuole ng animal cell. Okay? Next. So let's now go back to the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes difference. Okay? So again, the prokaryotes, they are simpler and they easily grow kasi ang kailangan lang nilang gawin is to divide and that's it. They do not need to form a bigger organism or a bigger species. All they need is to divide. Okay, the eukaryotes can specialize. It depends on what kind of cell it is. Say, for example, if you're a cell in the in the liver, you are primarily concerned with detoxification. Okay? If you're a cell in the bone, your primarily concern is to uh, provide support and much ano yung structure niya, mas rigid and much stronger yung mga cells sa bones, okay? Next is yung prokaryotes natin, they reproduce faster because again they just have to divide. They do not have to form bigger structures or bigger organisms. So again, the prokaryotes, they are simpler and they easily grow and they reproduce faster and they are all the same. They behave the same. Either they can act as a unicellular organism. When they're a lot, they can form a colony or they can form chains. Okay, whereas for the eukaryotes, they can specialize, just like, for example, what I said earlier, when you are a cell in the liver, you specialize in detoxification. When you're a cell in the bone, you are mainly uh, concerned with structure and providing support. Okay? It is multicellular because they form bigger organs. Okay? And it can build large bodies. Okay? We are because of cellular division and uh, nakaka-form ng bigger um, bodies. Okay? From cell to tissue, from tissue to muscles, from muscles to organs, okay? And then eventually it will form into one organism, one type of species, okay? Okay, so example of specialized eukaryotic cell, just like what I mentioned earlier, when the liver cell is specialized to detoxify blood and store glucose and glycogen. Ano ba yung pinaka-role ng liver natin sa katawan? When you put toxin inside your body, say for example, you are an alcoholic, okay? The liver is primarily concerned with cleansing your body with the toxins that you get from the alcohol. Same thing with when you drink too much medication. When you take too much medication, it's the liver that cleanses your body from the toxin that you get from the medications. Okay, because remember, medications are also chemicals that you put inside your body. So we still have to filter out the toxins and get yung mga may benefit lang sa atin. But still, when you take too much medication, it's still hepatotoxic. Meaning, nakakapagod pa rin siya sa liver because its main role is to filter out these chemicals and nagdo-double time yung liver natin in order to detoxify our body. Okay? So, it doesn't necessarily mean na meron kang konting sakit, you have to drink medication right away. Okay? We still have to uh, look into consideration the health of our liver. Okay? I mean, take into consideration the health of our liver. Okay, so another specialized cell is the sperm cell, which is primarily responsible in carrying DNA and producing an offspring. Okay, going to the egg cell, carrying genetic information and eventually will form a fertilized egg, and so on and so forth. So again, an example of a specialized eukaryotic cell is the liver cell and the sperm cell. Okay. Another type of a specialized cell is the mesophyll cell. So it specializes in capturing light as possible. You can find it inside the leaf. So it's inside a plant cell. So how do animal cells move? They can either crawl, they can either swim, or they can swim faster with the cilia. The cilia are like hair-like structures that surrounds the cell. Okay, so again, the pseudopods, they are like fake feet. Okay, flagellum, it is a tail. The cilia are hair-like structures that surrounds the cell. Okay, so this is an example of pseudopods, fake feet. Ayan, ito sila. So they can move using this fake feet. Okay, another one is via tail. Using a tail, it can swim using a tail like the sperm cell. So this is an example of a flagellum. Okay, it can move uh, by swimming. Another way of moving is by cilia. Ayan, yung marami siyang hair-like projections or finger-like projections that surrounds it cellular layer. Okay, the phospholipid bilayer. So ayan, it can also move. It can like swim around. Mostly yung mycelia yung bacteria. Okay? Commonly yung E. coli marami siyang cilia, just like what you've seen earlier. Okay, so how did organelles evolve? So, meron tayong tinatawag na theory of evolution because species change in order to survive, and we cannot avoid that from happening because just like us humans, whenever we move into a new environment, we we somewhat look for ways in order to adapt to the environment in order to survive. Same thing with the organisms, okay? So, as time goes by, nag evolve yung mga uh, organisms in order to survive and in order to adapt to the environment, okay? Many scientists theorize that eukaryotes theorize, meaning for them, they think that eukaryotes evolved from prokaryotes. Okay, in 1981, Lynn Margulis or popularized the endosymbiote theory. Symbiotic theory meaning endo meaning inside, and then symbio meaning they they benefit each other para silang magkaibigan. Okay, so when as as the time goes by, naka-develop siya ng iba-ibang organelles in order to form a bigger species in order to survive and to adapt to the environment. Okay? So endosymbiote theory, theory again, it is a, a prokaryote ancestor eats a smaller prokaryote. Ayan. This is just a theory, okay? A prokaryote ancestor eats a smaller prokaryote, and then the smaller prokaryote evolves in order to survive and to adapt a way to avoid being digested. Okay, so it needs to um, look for a way in order to survive. So the main goal of evolution, again, is for survival and adaptation. Okay? You cannot just survive a single event. You have to adapt in order to thrive and survive longer. Okay? And lives inside its new host cell, kind of like a pet. Okay? They like endo, it's inside. Symbiote is like you benefit from each other. So in the long run, nag-benefit yung prokaryote to another prokaryote, and then they form the eukaryotic cell. Okay? So again, endo is inside, symbiont is they act as friend or they benefit from each other. Okay, so again, thank you for listening. That's all for today. I hope you learned a lot. If you have questions, you are free to send a message. So I received all your activities and I was quite impressed. So keep keep it up and I'm gonna try to share it on Facebook when kapag nakapag-pass na yung lahat. Thank you very much and thank you for listening.